Hey y'all, it's your boy Charles. Charles on there as well. Checking in. Listen, we're going to get into this reaction, this video, about the Black Mafia family. Not the BMF you're thinking of in the TV show like Big Meech, but these guys came along way before that in Philadelphia. These are the deadly enforcers of the Black Mafia. Let's go into the video. Give me the thumbs up button and let me know what y'all think. Subscribe to Charles on there as well.
The Enforcers. The
Oh, I'm gonna come back with my reaction after I'm done. Okay, guys.
rap sheet of Richard Pork Chops James included, among many entries, an arrest for assault
Pork
and
chop
battery
James.
with a sledgehammer. His brutish nature made him a valued member of the Black Mafia's muscle platoon. Little more than a month after the murder of Rock and Roll Williams, James was handpicked to deal with an official
Damn.
called David Truly, who headed the enforcement division for Pennsylvania's insurance department in the state capital, Harrisburg. On 29 May 1969, Truly received a call at his home in South Philadelphia from someone identifying himself as Frank, who told him, "We have some documents that you might be interested in." Truly was preparing to take the witness stand in a major fraud trial the following week, and he assumed the proposal was related to the case. He was directed by the caller to Ellsworth Street and Cobbs Creek Parkway in West Philadelphia, and
Born
promptly
and
drove
raised.
alone to the location. When he arrived, at approximately 11 p.m., he was met by a man who asked him to identify himself.
Wow.
Truly did, and was told that Frank was around the corner and would be back in a few minutes. A second man soon joined them and asked Truly.
It's crazy. I mean, let me just stop it, but back in those days, people looked real older than what they were. Like this guy probably is maybe in his 20s. This picture, this dude right here, he probably in his 20s right here in this picture, but he looked like he about in his 40s. People look older back. Like the older the times, the more older they look. You
If he
know.
was from the insurance department. They then suggested the three of them walk to Frank's location. Now, suspicious, Truly refused, but they jumped him. One held him down, while the other beat him on the head with a lead pipe. Before he
That's
collapsed,
crazy.
bleeding and on the verge of unconsciousness, he screamed for help, and someone from the neighborhood came to his aid as the assailants fled.
Mm.
Truly lost 3 teeth and required 26 stitches to close his wounds. Authorities believed this was a cut-and-dried case of intimidating a witness to prevent him from testifying. There is no question that there was a contract in this case, said Assistant DA Richard Phillips. This is definitely the work of the Mafia. Phillips was half right. It was the work of the Black Mafia, now officially in the business of contracting violence.
Mm.
6 months later, James was arrested in New York City for murdering a woman and child during a botched hit in which he only wounded the intended target. On 21 February 1971, before he could be brought back from jail for questioning about the Truly attack, he was found dead from a heroin overdose. James had a history of 32 arrests, including the sledgehammer assault,
Like
and Camden Police Department
this
intelligence
dude like
files
it was like
state that he was sent to New York on the orders of Bo Baines to fulfill a contract of murder. They further state that his subsequent
oh
overdose
dang.
in jail was, in fact, a hot shot given to him by members of the Black Mafia, arranged to ensure his silence in a Black Mafia-related assault case. When the Omnibus Crime Control and Safe Streets Act of 1968 was passed, and identified street gang warfare as one of its main targets, Philadelphia was one of the cities at the forefront of the concerns. It had more than 100 street gangs. Among the most infamous was the 20th and Carpenter Streets gang in South Philly. And when the city attempted to broker peace agreements between warring factions to reduce the rising number of gang-related deaths, the 20th and Carpenter crew was one of the keys to success.
Right.
Two of the gang's more influential members, by 1967, were Charles Robinson, aged 22, and James Fox, 18. They too were troubled by the fighting and drug dealing in their community, and decided enough was enough. With the aid of community leader Jimmy Lester, their gang became the first to lay down its weapons. Robinson and Fox also opened a youth center, the Council for Youth and Community Development, CYCD, in March 1970 at 20th and Pemberton Streets. A court
This is a
stenographer
long
was
time
one of its
ago.
incorporators and served as an advisor, and its supporters included Judge Paul Dandridge and City Councilman Thomas Foglietta. The stated purpose of the nonprofit center was identified in its incorporation documents as charitable, scientific, and educational. Robinson was in the process of becoming an influential, positive force in the community, while Fox was being groomed by civic leaders, such as Jimmy Lester, to run for political
Mm,
office. Despite Fox's criminal background, he had been arrested 4 times, twice for assault with intent to kill, once for robbery, and once for assaulting a police officer. Councilman Foglietta once called him the next Martin Luther King Jr.
For more
that's
of these
crazy.
fascinating stories and true
That is
crimes,
crazy. So that is, my channel, Charles Arnaz World. You know what? They had to really bring these brothers down because they was getting organized. See, it's one thing about the criminal lifestyle that I've learned. I mean, I'm not part of the criminal lifestyle, but I've observed from the sidelines. But one thing they can always guarantee about a lot of black criminals, whether it be gangs and all that stuff, is that a lot of us aren't really organized. A lot of, well, not us, but them, a lot of them aren't really organized. So they can always count on black criminality be kind of just all over the place and, you know, just betraying each other and not being organized, not having a set of rules. But then when the Philadelphia Black Mafia came around and started getting just like the Italian Mafia, they were organized, they had chain of command, they had leadership because they had that discipline from the Muslims. A lot of them, a lot of the Black Mafia was made up of, had a lot of Muslims in it, Black Muslims. So they had that discipline. You got to have discipline to have a crime organization. That's why it's called organization, because organization means discipline, organized, order, things in order, and a lot of times the black criminals don't be organized. But this is one, people like these guys, Philadelphia Black Mafia, and even BMF with Big Meech, they were organized. They had chain of command and you follow certain rules, and those are the organizations that the um, police in America have to take down fast because they don't, they can always count on us being unorganized and ununified. But once you have a criminal entity, or not even a criminal entity, even like the Black Panther had discipline and they had organization amongst black people and unity, and they had, you have to dismantle that. You have to dismantle that because that's a big threat. People, a group of people being on point. You know. Anyway, so what do y'all think about this, man? Leave your comments and subscribe to my channel, Charles Arnaz World. Appreciate you guys watching. Take care.